Yes, yes. Welcome to another episode of the Inside Out Podcast. I'm your host, Linton Felix, joined by my co-host, Micah Almond. Say what's up, Micah. Oh, you're on mute.
What is going on? Good afternoon. How
I
you
know
doing today, man?
we're kind of early on a Saturday. It's
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
I had to cut my naps uh, short, but we have some lovely ladies joining us today. You see in
yes.
the bottom left of your screen, Miss Levon Lopes, realtor out of I want to say Providence, Rhode Island, but you're not in Providence anymore. You're out of
All of Rhode Island.
all of Rhode Island.
Yes, yes.
Miss Levon Lopes.
Licensed in Rhode Island and Mass, but I primarily focus in Rhode Island.
That's dope. And also to her right, well, to her left, our right, Miss Nadia Wiltshire-Bernard, out of Keller Williams as well, out of Clermont, Florida. Am I saying it right?
Yeah,
Clermont.
yes, sir. Yep,
And
Claremont, Florida.
Claremont. That's why I said Clermont. I was like, it's a little different.
Yeah, yeah.
But today's episode, we like to do things a little different here. We're not just pure entertainment, jokes, and laughs. We like to bring a little bit of, let's say, information to our masses out there. We know a lot of cool people doing a lot of cool things, and just these are two women who are doing some cool things, and we wanted to get some insight on. As we both know, they're realtors between Rhode Island and Florida, so they got most of the East Coast covered for you if you want to buy a home or sell a home. But today we just wanted to pick their brains, find out a little bit about them, about their job, how they got into it, and whatnot. So without further ado, because we know when you have Levon for a good hour, the kids got to play. What they got? Soccer practice, soccer game.
Soccer and a birthday party. It's a Saturday.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. Mine aren't old enough to be doing all that stuff. So plus the pandemic. So my oldest son, he's a little afraid to go outside. He's like, I'm cool with the crowds and whatnot. My daughter, she doesn't care. She has no clue. But we'll go quickly. So we'll make sure we get some great advice and great words from Levon. But first and foremost, we want to say thank you for coming, and we'd like to start with Nadia. You just give us a quick introduction about you and what you do.
Yeah. So, as you guys know, I'm Nadia. I call myself Nadia WB because my last name is a whole mouthful, Wiltshire-Bernard. But yeah, as by profession, I am a real estate professional. I'm a real estate broker. But I'm more than that. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a child of God. So that's just a bit about me. I wear many hats. I'm a heart health advocate as well. So, that's me.
That's you. And that's great to start off. And now you, Levon, give us a little insight into yourself.
Okay. My name is Levon Lopes. I am a Rhode Island native, born and raised here. Went to undergraduate college here at Rhode Island College.
Mm-hmm.
Have a master's degree from Brandeis in Waltham, Massachusetts. And I started my real estate career in Maryland and DC. So I was first licensed in Maryland and DC.
Metro area?
Yes, I love Chocolate City. Chocolate City.
That's a good time.
So I've been licensed for a very long time. I want to say since 2003 is when I was first licensed in the DC area. And then I moved back home to Rhode Island in 2006. So I've been practicing real estate in Rhode Island and Mass since 2006. I am a wife to a wonderful husband, Donald, and 3 girls, Layla, Logan, and London.
Wow. Wait, you say Layla what?
Layla, Logan, and London, all
So
L's.
you like the L's too.
Me, yeah.
You like the L's. My mom did the same thing. Everybody got an L in their name.
Yeah.
Hilarious. But I wanted to know, like Nadia, just like Levon, she said she was in the Maryland, D.C. area, and she got into the real estate. The question for both of you ladies, but starting with Nadia, what drove you towards real estate as a profession?
A lot of things drove me to real estate.
I didn't want to say drive you. What led you to that?
So I think what ultimately led me to real estate was just having the autonomy to write my own journey. And in real estate, I had the opportunity to do that. By nature, I'm a facilitator and a nurturer. And so this profession has given me the opportunity to exercise those skills naturally with my clients. So yeah, that's what brought me to real estate.
Okay. What about you, Levon?
Initially, money brought me to real estate. So, because I had my degrees, I was in the field of child, youth, and family policy.
Mhm.
So I was dual career for many, many years, where I was in policy in DC and helping homeless and families in need. And then also when I came back here to Rhode Island, I
Mhm.
worked for Rhode Island College for many years in education.
Okay.
But I still kept on doing real estate. I loved it. I always help helping people find their home, meeting their home ownership goals and journey, and sort of helping them reach their ultimate goals of having that American dream, having that house for their family to pass down for generations, or to hopefully be able to create generational wealth. So I
Yeah.
always was into that, but money definitely first drove me there.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that. Like money will drive a lot of people to do a lot of things. And
Absolutely.
but okay, so now that we know what led you to real estate, on a data, I know you guys are moms. Both of your moms. Nadia, Levon has 3. Nadia, you have
I have 2. Yep, I've got a boy and a girl, teenagers.
teenagers, so they can take care of themselves. So you're
I don't know about that, but
Your Saturdays haven't freed up yet.
no, they haven't freed up. Today I've got like football and got
Oh,
one that's singing the national anthem at the game as well. So
What are you?
Oh,
Your
nice.
national anthem?
was that?
Your daughter singing national anthem?
Yeah, she's singing the national anthem with her choir, obviously.
Okay.
But yeah, she's doing her thing. And my son, he's going to be on the sideline today, unfortunately, because he got an injury yesterday.
Mhm.
So, but we'll be there cheering the team on this evening.
Okay.
Yep.
So knowing that you guys have been led to real estate, your typical day when you wake up on a, let's say Monday through Friday, because I know in real estate it's really 24/7.
And say 7 days a week.
7 days a week. But let's say Monday through Friday, what does your typical day look like when you wake up? We'll start with Levon.
So my typical day looks like getting my kids ready, right? So first, they have to be able to get to school and do their work, right? School is their work so that I can do my work. So it's getting the kids up. My kids are very spread out in age. I have a 16-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 2-year-old. I started all over. So it's busy, a high schooler, elementary, and then daycare. So just getting them together and out the door, dropping the baby off at daycare, and then hopefully either going to a real estate appointment, going to my office to do some paperwork, or doing other things that involve real estate. So I may have home inspections, I may have to have a fire certificate inspection, which is for fire safety in the house. They have to have working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, or just follow up. So I may have to call attorneys, I may have to fix some repair escrow items that we're going back and forth on. So the day starts with getting them out the door and then figuring out what's on the day to hopefully help my real estate transactions flow smoothly. So we close on time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you, Nadia?
So I don't think there's a typical day in our world because, as you heard from Levon, like there's a plethora of tasks that we just have to accomplish from day to day, and it looks really different because you're just involved in so much. But initially, I start my days off just like first with meditation, because to balance all of these balls, like you have to be in a place that like your mind, body, and soul are in tune. So I spend a little time in meditation and prayer, and then getting the kids out the door. And from there, I time block. So I may have showings that I'm doing. Lead generation is something that like I focus on daily because in real estate, you're an entrepreneur, and the business, it doesn't just walk to you. You have to go out there and get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So lead generation is key. So I work on that daily and just, staying in touch with my clients. I may have a day of showings. I may have a day of inspections. Like, it's just fun, problem solving. And then you're picking up the kids and, balancing all their stuff as well. So wearing many hats throughout the day, man.
Well, with picking up the kids, though, adding to that, we're probably picking them up, going to a real estate appointment or two with them in the car, and then
Yep.
going to a practice.
Yep, for sure. That is the norm. Many times in car line, I'm like on a phone call negotiating, and they're getting in the car, and I'm just like, shh, shh, mommy's on a call.
Hey man, if they want them new Jordans, you better shut your mouth.
For sure.
Well, that vacation.
They know what the deal is now.
Yep.
Now, I had a question. Initially, when you all started out, how was that learning curve? I can only imagine it was an adjustment.
Yeah, it's a beast. Because much like Levon, I'm working with children, right? So I did mental health services for at-risk children under 12 years of age.
Mhm.
So transitioning into real estate, it was intense. Nobody prepared me for it. I think you go to school and you learn all of this textbook stuff, but the actual world of real estate is very, very different.
Because I would imagine it's not just codes and prices and everything. It's a lot of human interaction, excuse me, and learning to deal with people. It's not just here's the house, square footage, price per square footage, and all this stuff. It's really trying to get to know your clients. So it's not more. It's more than just numbers.
100%.
That's why I tie it back to being a facilitator.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, it's really not about selling and buying a house. People are at a place in their life where they're trying to get someplace.
Yeah.
And so the psychology becomes a very, very huge part of that, understanding their motive and understanding what drives them in order to make sure that you lead them in the right direction.
For me, I think that real estate is probably an 80 10-10. I think it's 80% psychological, social work type of what's happening in your life, possibly divorce, possibly young people graduating from college, or they've gotten their first job and now they want to purchase, or their family is expanding. So really understanding all of those emotional elements and how fast they can go or not go, or a parent's getting older and they need to have an in-law or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's 10% financial, and then 10% like, let's just get it done. But the majority of it is the psychology of it and being a social worker through the whole transaction. Some of it is easy and simple, and some of it is a little bit more detailed oriented.
And, with connecting to the social aspect, both of you guys having similar backgrounds, like Levon, social policy, and Nadia, you saying at-risk youths and whatnot. So you guys probably have a leg up on most who just came into it for the money, as you would say. So you have that empathy in the background where you're like, I'm not just trying to sell you a home. I'm trying to make sure you get what you need. But also, you both utilize social media, as a way to advertise and whatnot. Is that something purposeful, or is that just something you didn't realize you were doing, or you had to do? You just felt like this was necessary to incorporate social media into your business?
Social media is very important, and I'm not a big social media person.
I know.
But in trying to educate myself and sitting in classes and webinars, or even listening to YouTube, we have to grow with time and with technology. And even though we did not, grow up with Instagram or YouTube,
what we had Black Planet.
Snapchat. We didn't have that, but
I think I found my Black Planet the other day.
Feeling uncomfortable and jumping in it. And I still don't do a lot of it. Hopefully I do just enough. But you have to use social media, because at the end of the day, people want to see that you're busy, and people want to see that you're successful, and people want to see that you're winning and you're helping other people win, because people want to be connected and affiliated with winners. And people who win, you win bids, you win houses, offers, you win new listings. That excites people. It's like winning an NBA game or a football game. We're not even there a lot of the times. We may not be at the FedEx field or at TD Banks or where we're there, but we're right there live watching via TV. So they could be watching us via Facebook and Instagram. They want to see you win. And when they want to see you win, they want to be on your team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bars.
Yes. Yeah, she's spitting it.
Yes.
Should have been a rapper. But go ahead, Mike. I saw you were trying to chime in.
No, I was, well, to follow up. Speaking of football, I just had a question. You know, Lynn's a Patriots fan. Are you as well?
No, I'm
Wait,
forbidden to be a
what?
Patriot.
No,
Oh
Levon.
wow.
Levon, are you
Yes,
serious? You're
yes,
what?
forbidden. That was my husband's one rule. Like he
Is
like
he a
hates
Giants
the
fan?
Patriots. Weirdly, he's not. He's a San Diego Charger fan. So all the way West Coast. All of his teams are West Coast. So LA Lakers. It was San Diego Chargers, but now they're the LA Chargers and the LA Dodgers.
Wow, that is a jump. That is a jump.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But also, I know you guys were talking, like Levon, you mentioned about seeing people win. I remember when I went through the home buying process for the first time, it was at least overwhelming at times, and it was. I was open to a new thing, looking at homes, types of homes, because all I would see was, oh, look at I can afford that, but then you have to look into what the home has to offer, and as far as growth, if you're going to have more kids and all that stuff. So part of the reasons why we did this show is because I've been through the process, and I know Micah's looking to do that in a few years. And I wanted to know from each of you. Let's jump into more of the informational part. Like 3 things that a young or new home buyer who's thinking about buying a home, 3 things that they should be doing before they even approach a realtor or even get it into their head. Okay, now I'm ready to go look to purchase a home. 3 things from each of you. Whoever wants to go first can start it off.
Yeah, so I think that one of the first major things to do is budgeting ahead of time. You just preparing yourself as if you are paying a mortgage and identifying what you feel comfortable with financially and saving, and just creating healthy financial habits. That would be primary. Secondary, I think really digging deep to figure out what it is that you enjoy doing in life, because you spend a lot of time in your home. And so you want to make sure that you're identifying a space that reflects what you like to do. And then location, like understanding the different locations and what that brings to your life. Because do you want to commute an hour to work, or is it more important to you to be 20 minutes from work? So those are just top 3 things that I think you should identify.
And you, Levon?
For me, I think COVID put a lot of things in perspective for homeowners. A lot of people had to really digest their living situations and where they lived and who they lived with. And if that was okay for them, that worked out. Hopefully, there were a lot of babies made. I'm sure people divorced and different things like that. So things I would want people to consider or thinking about as they're thinking about and preparing to possibly be homeowners is, one, their credit. You're able to check your credit report for free every year on freeannualcreditreport.com. So don't wait for somebody else to do it or a loan officer to do it. Pull your own credit report every year for free, and you can see what's on there. If there's something that's not supposed to be on there, write a letter and dispute it. But your credit is your life. It's a reflection of you and who you are. So you should know about it and be mindful of it. So get a copy of your own credit report. The next thing I would suggest that you do is save money. So think about your down payment. There are programs out there and grants out there in particular cities and states that help people, first-time home buyers, purchase. They will give you grant money. But in this competitive market, a lot of people want very clean deals. They don't want to see you using these grant programs. They don't want to see your offers coming in with concessions or asking for things. So try to always present yourself in the best possible light. And how you're able to present yourself on paper in the best possible light is for you to have your finances in order and to have money to pay for your own down payment and your own closing costs. So save. And if you're not able to save, look at your income and the money that you're bringing in and your expenses, what you're putting out. and try to figure out ways that you can cut back or reduce those costs so that money can go into a separate bank account, a different bank account that you don't go to often, and that money begins to add up. And before you know it, within a year or two, you'll probably have $5,000 to $10,000 in there. And then the third thing I would suggest that you do is to connect with a realtor. Realtors understand everybody has a different timeline. Some people's timeline may be immediately 1 month, they're relocating, they're getting a divorce. Other people's timelines may be 3 to 6 months or in a year. We will follow up with you. We will stay in touch with you and say, hey, Nadia, how's it going? How's that job going? Or how are your parents doing? Or, I know you said you wanted to move next summer, just saying hello, just touching bases with you. So connect with a realtor to begin to develop a relationship. And that realtor will hopefully be in touch with you. So when you're ready, they know what you want, they know what you're looking for, and they're able to help you find it. And to your benefit, they may have listings coming up or know people who have what you want. So they may know you want to be in a townhouse or a condo in Marietta, Georgia or somewhere, or downtown. So they're going to be like, hey, Levon, guess what? I have this new listing coming up. I have this condo coming up. I know you said you weren't going to be ready until August, but these people are going to be listing it or selling it in June. I suggest you, start to prepare or get ready or get your ducks lined up. So those are the three pieces of advice I would give.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
From a 29-year-old like myself, thank you. I needed to hear that.
And go to freecreditreport.com, freeannualcreditreport.com. Print it out for yourself every year. I print my husband's out.
Yeah, I did that myself. I'm going through that process right now, which leads into my next thing for homeowners like myself who are, I'm a good half a decade in, whatnot. It was my first home, and we're looking at, hypothetically, we're looking to upgrade. Yeah, and say we have some fixtures on the house, and the one thing as a homeowner, like I read books, I looked at YouTubes before we bought the house, and it was like they tell you can read all you want, but you're never prepared for when things happen. We moved in the first summer. We moved in the winter of January 2016. By spring, it got hot in Georgia. And like we turn on the AC. Next thing you know, AC isn't working. I was told it was brand new, but something happened and out of pocket had to come out about $800. Had to change a chimney cap, another $900. Cut trees, all that stuff. So things start to happen. So for a homeowner who's been there and said, okay, now I need to upgrade the house, any advice on ways we can go about, like as opposed to, okay, I've got to come up with $30,000 to change windows. Any advice for current homeowners and ways they can go about with home maintenance? Well, we'll start, Nadia.
So home maintenance, that's like huge because buying a home is one of the largest investments that you will ever make in your life. And so you have to protect that investment.
Yep.
That means maintaining those shrubberies around the home so that you don't get termites, because in the South, that's very, very huge for us. I think you have to. And I think that's tying it back into what I've initially said. Like, you want to model the behavior of home ownership before home ownership, right? So if you've taken that step as a first-time home buyer, as you become a homeowner, this is a behavior because you have created an emergency fund for those items that arise that we didn't anticipate. The AC that's not covered under warranty, the fridge that just goes out. It was a brand new fridge, but like things happen. You know what I mean? The flood that you were running the tub because you got a jacuzzi tub in your new house, and then guess what? You just left it on, right? So I think just developing that that attitude of creating like a fund to take care of those things in the home is essential. It's essential as a homeowner, and it's something that I hone in with on all of my clients. Like, this is a huge responsibility, and so you can't rely on homeowners insurance for everything because there are things that you have as a responsibility, like changing your roof. That's really not a homeowner's insurance issue.
Yeah,
a lot of people have that misconception, especially here in the South, where we've been hit with a lot of hurricanes in the past. They're like, oh, the hurricane will come in and I'll just get a new roof. But guess what that does, right? That then drives up the home insurance rates.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's there if there is an emergency, but like technically you're responsible for changing your roof. You should know that within how many ever years you may need to have $13,000-$14,000 put down to change over that roof.
How about you, LaVon?
Two things I would add to that is having a list of good contractors sort of in your back pocket. So hopefully your realtor has a list of contractors or handyman people that they share with you. And if not, very early on, identify an electrician, a plumber, and a general contractor that you have a relationship with and that you can always call instead of waiting until you need those services or an emergency. And then now you're sort of calling any and everybody. And now you're sort of at their mercy to fix your problem at top dollar. And to what Nadia said, there's just general maintenance in a house. So, for example, cleaning your gutters versus waiting until they're full of debris and they separate from the house and they fall off. So just being mindful of things that need to be maintained and cleaned or your boiler to be serviced every year versus waiting until there's an emergency. The second thing, I don't really know if they have that I would assume they do because these warranties are pretty nationwide, but I would strongly recommend people to get a home warranty. Some home warranty programs are better than others. They cover more things than others, and they have less red tape than others. One that I like in particular is American Home Shield or 2-10 Home Shield, ahs.com. But they provide a sense of security to people buying a house that they are not familiar with or comfortable with, right? They're new to this.
Is that an extra home insurance or is that like?
It's not insurance, it's a warranty. So you know how they have like all these weird car warranties when your transmission goes, call this, and those things don't really work because they ask you a whole bunch of questions before. Yeah. But these home warranties are a little bit more flexible, definitely American Home Shield. So you don't know if you buy a house in the winter, if the AC is going to work in the summer. You may not know if your heat system works. I mean, they should try it if you buy a house in the summer and now you're in the winter and they haven't had it serviced. So a home warranty is sort of an added benefit. For example, a policy could be $750 and they cover certain mechanicals in the house. So they would cover, for instance, your refrigerator, your stove, your dishwasher. If you have a pool, your pool heat pump, your AC unit, your boiler, a well. I have boiler, a well.
You mean water heater?
Your
water heater in the south.
And then we have a boiler. So the water heater is separate from the boiler. Your furnace.
I know because in New England, the boiler is the oil drum, basically, right?
Yes.
That's right. Okay. Bringing back memories.
That we would pay $750 for. It includes some wiring, your doorbell, ceiling fans. But whenever you call in and you make a claim, there's an automatic charge. For example, it's $125. And they send out a service person. The service person could be from a Sears Appliances. They could be from William and Harris Heating. They can be from your local person that they sort of have in their system and that's registered. Okay. And for that $125, they will come out and they will assess what's wrong. They will first try to fix it, right? Because it's cheaper to fix. Yeah. And then if they cannot fix it, they will replace it for free for that $125 that you paid for the service call. And for a new homeowner or somebody moving up to a new house, it's key. Because me having to only pay $125, I would pay that instantly with just calling a plumber if my tub is backed up. Okay. Right? Just that initial service call for them to come out and assess the problem is probably $150 to $200. Yeah. Never mind the parts and the labor for them to now fix it. So that $125 covers all of that. It's game. It's them coming out, it's them assessing it, it's them ordering the parts and fixing it. And then if they can't fix it, they replace it for nothing, just for that initial $125. So
So
imagine walking into a house that you don't know, you're not familiar with, you're not comfortable with, and things start happening. That's a value add insurance that makes us all feel well. When if my furnace or boiler goes out, I don't have to pay $5,000 for a new boiler. I can only pay that $125 and I'm good. And I've had buyers recently, these last few months, have to call and make several claims because you don't know what you're getting until you live there.
yeah,
Yeah. And some of the home warranties will actually give you, as a new owner, the option to change the locks on the home when you move in. And that's a huge savings, because after you've spent so much money on your down payment and closing costs and home inspections and appraisal fees, that any savings you could get is a great thing. So yeah, that's a great point, Levon.
And question, so does that only apply to new construction homes or just new purchase homes? Or what if
new purchase? It doesn't matter if it's new construction or it's a pre-existing home. It just has to be a new purchase. New construction homes have issues too. Just because it's new, they do things very fast. They cut corners. New construction homes, they forget to connect vents and all kinds of stuff. So they have
me that buy a home years later. I'm dealing
but that's why home inspection is so important too, you know, and as a responsible buyer, like you attend those things. So when you purchase a home, as a realtor, I always trigger my clients like, look, you are investing in a home. The home inspection is happening. Be present, because that's where you're going to learn about your home. And you can't find out everything, but the main components of the home, you will be able to, get some information on.
Yeah, inspections are key, because I remember when I was purchasing 5-6 years ago, saw a home, price was wonderful for Georgia, and I was like, it's a beautiful home. But as we're doing the walkthrough, I thought my equilibrium was off. I was like, maybe things just seem a little crooked, but maybe it's just me and the way the windows look outside with the sky. So I had my inspector come in, and I'm like, dude, are you feeling something weird? He said, I think this house is crooked. I was like, what do you mean crooked? He was like, it's not level. And he took a pencil, and we were in the hallway, and he just let it roll, and it rolled all the way down. He was like, yeah, don't buy this house. And I was like, I thought I was crazy. I was like, I'm walking through the house, and I'm feeling like I'm going to fall. And everybody was like, no, you're fine. But home inspections were key. It saved me a lot of trouble if I purchased that home.
Yeah.
The price was too good to be true. Now that we've gone over some things, keys for new homeowners, for current homeowners, I wanted to know your take, because you guys mentioned, Levon, you said in the 3 things is to find an agent. So your advice to someone like Micah, who may not be able to use you or Nadia's services because he's out of state, what should he be looking for in a realtor to help him achieve his goals, or any new home buyer or first time buyer?
I am taking notes.
Good. So a few things is, one, just because myself and Nadia are not licensed in your state, we have friends who are realtors in every state. So we would love to make a referral and a connection for you, Linton, for you, Micah, and helping you find a new house or upgrading to a house, especially in Georgia and Florida. I know a lot of realtors who are there. So we try to sort of hopefully share and network with each other, is one thing. Secondly, it's always good to share business amongst ourselves. So I am a big supporter of that. So when I'm able to refer a client to a prospective realtor who supports our community, helps uplift and build our communities, I take great pride in that. Now, things that you should consider or think about when you are looking for a realtor is, one, are they busy? Right? Again, that's social proof, social media. You want to see that people are busy. They understand sort of what's happening out there. They know how to win an offer, how to try to put a strategic offer together to hopefully help you win. The market right now is extremely competitive, so you're not going to win your first offer, and that's okay. But hopefully, it shouldn't take you 10 or 20 offers in for you to win your offer on your house. And that is really based on a realtor's experience in relationships. So if they have relationships out there amongst their fellow, right, their local realtors and community, it's really all about relationship building. Hey, Nadia, I have this buyer. They really love this house. I'm going to send you an offer. And then just sort of chatting it up and learning a little bit more about one, Nadia, who she likes to work with, how she works, and two, that seller. What is that seller's ultimate goal? Are they looking for a fast close? Are they building something new and they can't close until 90 days later? Would they like to close and get their money and then do a rent back so that they could then look for something and purchase something later? So those are a few things that I would think about if I'm looking to find a realtor. Other things are ask around, ask your friends, ask who did you use as a realtor? How was their communication? How was their response time? Did they make you feel like you were important? Did they respond to your emails or your text messages in a timely fashion? Did they connect you with other resources, contractors, lenders, different things like that? All of those things are important to me, and they really show who that person is as a whole. For me and my clients, I'm not just their realtor, right? I want to be their lifelong realtor friend. If they have a problem or an issue, even though I sold them a house 2, 3, 5 years ago, I want them to feel comfortable and know that they can call me at any given time. If they need a plumber or an electrician, I'll refer them. It's okay that I'm not working with them now or currently. They're not taking up too much of my time calling me and asking me for a referral or for a reference. And then, secondly, I just want them to always feel connected to me. And I want them to know that even though that transaction has happened or passed, or that I got paid on that transaction, I can help them with anything. That's what's important for me.
Okay. Go ahead, Nadia.
Yeah, and Micah, I would say that one of the largest components when you are shopping around for a realtor is going to be that you feel that you can trust them. Because this is a situation that will make you feel extremely vulnerable, especially like if you don't know anything about the home buying process, it can be intimidating. And so having that relationship where you feel that you can trust someone is very, very important. The next component would be understanding like what you expect out of the transaction and how you want to be treated. Because how could you shop around for somebody if you don't know what you expect or how you want to be treated? Lastly, I think a representative or a real estate professional that has market knowledge, right? And that has a proven track record of actual transactions being closed. Because in the state of Florida, we have a ton of licensed real estate professionals, right? But not everybody is practicing all the time. And so if you are going to be tied into contracts, you're going to be tied into negotiation, you're going to be tied into a position where you have money on the line, then you need to have a real estate professional that's there, knows what they're doing. And the way that they know what they're doing is through experience of transactions, because no transaction is the same. And every single transaction that I conduct, I learn and experience something beyond my wildest imagination that I can just add to my toolkit and I can reference back to if confronted with again to know how to resolve that.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great. And now I know we got LaVon for probably another maybe 10 minutes before she has to go be super mom. So I wanted to lighten up the mood a little bit. I wanted to find out any interesting realtor stories because I do my research and we're all friends. So I stalk people a lot on Instagram and Facebook, and I see a lot of photos of you smiling with people that you probably, let's say, got them a house. And, so any interesting stories of you helping someone buy, sell a home or whatnot?
Oof. So I just had a closing yesterday, and this was probably one of my toughest transactions ever, one of my longest transactions ever. We've been under contract since April, and it was a condo conversion. Unfortunately, they listed it before the conversion was approved by the city. So
Ooh.
there was lots of delays, which we didn't know about because if you list a condo, we assume it's a condo and you have all of your ducks in a row and it's already been approved by the city. So lots of extensions, lots of delays. Um, I almost lost my cool on this one, and I'm pretty together, pretty calm, and trying to keep my clients happy, my transactions together. But even up until yesterday, closing time was at 2 o'clock. We were like going back and forth about plat numbers being recorded properly or repair addendum not signed, appropriate escrow, because we just want it done and over with at this point, and we can escrow some things, which is money set aside for things that still need to be done. We were still going back and forth. We ended up signing. Seller showed up 3 hours late and then also did not bring the keys. So my buyer signed and still does not have the keys to her new condo. So that's my most recent and interesting story.
Big time.
Yep.
So I've had like a crazy amount of things that have happened in my years of real estate, but I think one of the stories that stands out the most to me, we were walking through at closing, because we do a final walkthrough before the home buyer signs on the property, right? To make sure that everything is there, that no one took a refrigerator before closing and then you close and it's not there, or they destroyed the home. So we get there and the house is flooded.
I had
Right
that
before-
too.
oh.
Oh my God, I was showing a house and the basement was flooded. I'm like,
Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. It was closing day and the place was flooded. I mean, fortunately for us, it really worked out. The home, the sellers of the home, they were amazing and they did everything within their power to restore that home. They actually ended up working out for the buyer where they got like a brand new kitchen. They got all new kitchen cabinets, so it was a vibe. It worked out good, but definitely shocking. And that same client, fast forward to last week, we closed on a transaction that was insane. Like just getting through the process. We sold their house, and trying to do a bridge transaction can be extremely difficult because the timing of lining up when that new home closes versus when you sell the old home, it doesn't always work out. And so they had some displacement, and it was crazy, but we made it to the finish line. Yeah. And I think I've seen things like, you go show homes, walked in, people was naked in the house. Like there's lots of stuff that happens out here in this real estate world.
I went to see a home and a dude was just squatting in the house. Like, we went and I'm like, they said, no, this house has been empty for like 6-7 months. And I'm like, I just seen somebody upstairs, like window. And she's like, they shouldn't be here. We walk in and the dude just walks down like, hey, yeah, I'm just staying here watching the house. I was like, no, you're not. It didn't look like
There's safety concerns too. Like when you're out there as a realtor and you are entering into homes, you never know what's on the other side of that door.
That's interesting. Do you guys like, do you tow? I mean, Florida is a stand your ground state, so
yeah. Yes.
I don't carry. I don't have a license to carry. I do have mace that my husband
demands
purchase. Yeah, but I don't. It sits right in my car. But I should have it in my pocketbook or in my back
leave it in
pocket.
the car, and he's going to be really, really mad. He's gonna
Yeah, I'd be like, "What the hell do you have the mace for?" Like it's sitting in the car in my glove compartment. Like
I did that with my wife. I'd be like, I made sure she had one for the car, and then I bought one for her purse, and I'm like, any other purse, I'll put one in.
Yeah, I'm not good about that.
So you guys have never had any like occurrences where you felt unsafe? Like
I've had issues where I felt unsafe, or people were like just trying to hit on me, or like they weren't really interested in the house. You can definitely get that feeling or energy on the telephone or when they're trying to set up an appointment. And with those scenarios, I bring my husband on those appointments. Or, when you follow up with them or ask them questions, sometimes they cancel or don't show up. But hopefully, intuition or gut intuition is strong enough that you feel that you then bring somebody else with you. But I've definitely have had many people not really interested in purchasing a house, but looking to hook up with me or something.
Yeah.
So it's the new Tinder or whatever. Like,
I don't know. It's the new weird.
It's like, oh, I want you to be my realtor. Can you show me this? I'm like, oh, I need you to get pre-approved first. No, I got all my stuff together. Just show me. Dude, like, go away.
That is sad.
Yeah. Different space.
Well, yeah. Well, LaVon, we're gonna give you back about 5 minutes of your day because I know you gotta to get going. But before you go, we want to say thank you for doing this, and we'll probably want to do it some more in the future. I've known, full disclosure, I've known LaVon for years. We went to Rhode Island College together. We're from Providence, Rhode Island as well. High school too. Well, you went to Central, so
yeah, I went to Central.
I'll let you have that.
Yeah, we mainly hung in college though. He helped me with Harambe, our
so
Black student organization, our fashion shows, our music.
Yeah.
All of our activities and everything. It was a tribe of us. Him, Mike, myself, and it was a family that I love and miss. And those were some good times.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, and we miss you too. Appreciate you having on the show, but I want you to let people know how they can contact you if they're looking for a realtor in the Rhode Island, Massachusetts area, or even if they know someone in Georgia and you can refer them.
Absolutely. Referrals are always great. So even if I am not licensed in your state, most likely I know a realtor in your state who can help you, especially a brother or sister. But you can connect with me via my cell phone number. I am always available, 401-954-3544, or you can email me at any time at lavonlopes@kw.com. And my Instagram is RI for Rhode Island, RI Realtor _LaVon. You guys have a fabulous Saturday.
All right. Thank you, LaVon. You have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye.
Hopefully good birthday parties and win at the soccer game.
Yeah, and then some mommy time to just enjoy Saturday.
Yes.
Amen to that.
And we're gonna try to go to Waterfire tonight as a family. We don't get to do a lot of family things because we're always one kid is this way, another kid is that way. But Rhode Island, Providence has water fires, so hopefully we're going to get out there tonight and do that.
Okay, well, enjoy that. You know what I'm saying, and tell the family we said hello. All right.
Thanks. Enjoy.
Bye. All right, that was great. And for those of you who don't know, water fire is not that the water is on fire. It's just this thing they do with fire on the water. So
thank you for clearing that up.
Because I know Mike, I was like, I was going to watch the water burn. I'm like, what? That's all good. That's all good. So Nadia, we're going to continue with you. So I've always been like, after getting into the home buying, I'm like, I could not do this as a profession because I know before we bought our house, we looked for almost a year. And shout outs to my agent that you helped me get the referral, Andrell Brewer. She was a trooper with us because we were looking in. If anybody knows how Georgia, Atlanta is set up, the Metro Atlanta, she lived on past the airport, which is what, Mike, it'll be like the south side, right?
Yeah.
And we were looking in Gwinnett County, which was on the northern side. So she would drive and meet us. And I would be like, damn, Andrew, I'm going to buy a house because I can't say we're looking and then don't find nothing. I felt guilty every time. But we put in offers, and it was a long, arduous process. At the time we were looking, it was let's say a seller's market because there was a lot of inventory, but people were sandbagging. So they would give us one price, and then we put an offer in, and then they'd be like, oh, there are 20 other offers. What's your best offer? I'm like, it just said this property's been on the market for like no looks for the last 6 months. How are you trying to all of a sudden have a new purchase price? Well, what I just want to say, what keeps you going? Because I felt bad. I'd be like, man, we didn't find anything this weekend. We just looked at 10 homes and none of them were appealing. what keeps you going when it comes to this whole process of helping people find their homes?
So like I told you in the beginning, for me, this process is really about like connecting people on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about buying a house. And so I am walking in my purpose right now. And it's much deeper than just selling a home. And that's what keeps me motivated, because at the end of the day, I have a mission to complete. And I'm not going to stop until we complete it. That's it. You know, like it can be frustrating. It can be difficult. And many times my clients want to give up. But like, I just have to push them. Like, look, this is what you need to accomplish. And we're going to do it. If we got to kiss 100 frogs before we get there, we will. Obviously, that's not the goal. We're not trying to kiss 100 frogs, because if I'm doing my job right, then I'm able to extract from you the information that's going to help to lead us in the right direction. And we'll find a house, and we'll find it expeditiously.
That's good. That's good. You want to jump in there, Brenda?
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like there's a lot of myths that go along with buying a home, and I think misinformation kind of steers people away from the process. And like you said earlier, it is intimidating. Do you agree with that? Because I think if we were just more informed, more people would be homeowners, you know?
Yes, I strongly agree with that. And one of my rules when I have my consultations with my clients is like, hey, this right here is a personal decision, right? Everyone that's going to be involved in this decision, I need to meet with them. And then once we meet together and we gridlock on a plan, don't talk to anybody else. Because you're going to have a cousin that's a realtor. You will have a friend over here that watches HGTV and they're like, oh, girl, don't do this. No, there's no time for that. So once all decision makers are on board and we've gone through our discussions of what it's going to take to get you to that next step, don't talk to anybody. You are not allowed, because you need to be skilled and trained and have real-time access to the data to be able to guide someone on purchasing a home. That's it, point blank. Like, and I'm a straight shooter, so it doesn't work for everyone, but like that's my plan. Like, don't talk to anybody.
That's a good plan. I mean, you don't want any outside forces changing people's mindset. You guys have a plan, should stick to it.
Correct.
It seems like one of those decisions no one can make it but you.
Correct. Because there's an emotional thing that happens when you walk into the home that's yours. Like, you know that you know that you know. And I think last week you guys were talking about energy and so forth, right? So
somebody listening.
So like your energy knows where it's home. And when it's like the Roomba, you know how the Roomba just returns back to home and it knows where to park? When you go into your home, you will know that it's your home. And there could be 50 offers. There could be 60 offers on that home. If it's for you, it'll be for you. And you need the guidance of someone that is attuned with that to help you get to that place.
That's dope. That's real dope. But now, next thing I want to find out, just for my own knowledge, how many showings a week do you have? Like, I've always wanted.
It depends. It depends on my workload, like depending on how many clients I've taken on that week. So I told you that one of the main components of my business model is lead generation, right? And so, for example, right now I'm working with about 8 people. Okay.
Wow.
And yesterday I showed about 7 homes yesterday. And that was in different places. So, you know, like in Atlanta, how you have Gwinnett and you have Stockbridge. I was all over the city yesterday, showing homes and taking my child to urgent care.
Wow.
Like, it happens. It's what you do. Tomorrow, I'll be at about 4 appointments tomorrow. I've shown as many as 20 homes in a day.
Wow.
And so some agents, in order to manage that workload, they'll hire a showing assistant. to be able to show those homes. For me personally, where I'm at right now, I like to be present because I need to see what you're experiencing when you walk into that home so that we can have real dialogue about it.
Okay.
Will that model always work for me? Maybe not, because I plan on being like even more successful in the industry. So
And we
I
hope
may
that
have.
you have 5 showing assistants.
Yes, yes.
Speaking of assistants, sis. No, I'm just kidding.
I got
Okay,
you.
but we've talked about the showings, we've talked about stories and whatnot. On a serious tip, like with the pandemic, starting up in, we'll say, was it 2019? I mean, it's all a blur for me right now.
Roughly.
2020.
Yeah.
2020, the top of 2020.
Yeah.
How has it been for you as a realtor? Because I know with businesses shutting down as far as restaurants and things, and the face-to-face, and the mandates of masks, has business slowed down also because of the pandemic, people getting laid off? Have you seen that? Is it more or less people buying homes in your opinion, or is it the same amount, or has there been no change at all?
So for me, I think it's all about perspective, right? You could ask 5 realtors and they'll tell you it's really, really bad right now. They're not getting any business.
Mm-hmm.
You could ask another 5 realtors and they're going to tell you that it's absolutely amazing and they've made the most money of their lifetime in this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's about the approach that you took as a real estate professional when the pandemic hit and how you adjusted. If we look at it from a number standpoint, here in Florida, we are selling a lot of homes.
Yep.
We have a little bit of inventory, so it can be deceiving because it looks to a buyer like, oh my gosh, there's no homes. But there are homes.
Yeah.
They're just not staying on the market for more than a couple days. And so if you put yourself in position to align with what that flow is, that flow of what's happening, then this can be a very lucrative time in real estate. We've also had a large influx in the state of Florida of people that have gotten their real estate license because on their departure from these jobs, they're looking for a sense of independence and they're thinking, oh, let me get some quick money.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of realtors now, and it's trying to, I think consumers have a lot of pickings to go through to identify who they want to work with. But yeah, it's a good market right now. It's a great market. Interest rates are low. If you are a seller, like you're going to sell your home and get top dollar in Florida. If you're a buyer, you get great interest rates. Prices are a tad bit higher, but good interest rates. That balances things out.
And that's something I wanted to touch on. As far as someone selling their home in this market, my wife and I, we've looked around. We're contemplating. We have a plan for the next 5 years. We might want to move because this is our first home, and we never considered it our forever home. It could be if the circumstances, but we always saw it as, okay, this is our first home. We've never done it before. We might get in it and then realize, okay, this home isn't really for us, and now we know what we want. So if I'm looking to sell in this market, and I know each market, each state has its own ecosystem or whatnot, would it be advisable for someone in this to sell, and then say, hey, and buy at the same time? Or would you say, no, you sell first and then have a plan to give yourself a chance to look for a new home and whatnot? Any advice on that?
So I don't think there's a blanket answer because everyone's situation is very, very different. Like I had someone contact me today. They purchased a house from me about 6 years ago, right? If they sell their home right now, they will walk away making about $150,000 off of this house, right? So in that situation, they're also dealing with some personal issues. In that situation, it may not be ideal to go in and buy another home. But is it possible to sell and purchase another home? It's very possible. I think that the expectations just need to be in place, that it may not be that you move from one door to the next door. There's going to be a gap period.
Okay. And some explanation into, for some of us, understanding equity in your home. So say you have a home and the values go up. What contributes to equity in a home? And
So,
how can it be properly used?
yeah, that's a great question.
Mhm.
And so, equity comes from values of homes increasing, right? From
Okay.
the time that you financed your home. So, say for example, you purchase a home at 200,000, and
Mhm.
now homes in the area are selling for 300,000, right? We're just using raw cut numbers. Then you essentially have $100,000 of equity in your home or more because you've placed a down payment when you purchase. So even though you bought it for 200,000, it may actually be less that you owe on the house, right?
Yep.
But just say that you owe 200,000, you've got $100,000 equity. If you sell your home, there's going to be fees that are associated with that, so you've got to calculate that. So say you walk away with about $75,000 in your pocket. How to use that?
Mhm.
That just depends on where you're at. Are you a person that wants to purchase another home? Do you want to invest in real estate? Do you want to just sell everything you have and travel the world? 'Cause I've seen people do that too, where they're like, Nadia, you know what? Like, travel is cheap right now. This world is crazy. I don't know how long I'm going to live. I just want to sell everything and travel the entire world.
Wow. Right.
So it depends on what you're looking to achieve, and that's where an assessment comes in the beginning, and then from there we try to facilitate your goals, whatever that may be. You want to open a marijuana dispensary, like, hey, take it and invest it over there. Big things going on in that
It's
realm.
big things, not in Georgia, but other places.
Yeah, other places.
That would have been a good question for Levon. I forgot. Yeah, it's legal in Rhode Island or Massachusetts, one of them.
Yep.
But also, and you mentioned it in one of your answers there, investment properties.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the new hotness right now. Everybody's like investment, and I myself have been thinking about it for years, beyond the recent. Your advice on, let's say, me and Micah say, hey, we're gonna buy properties and we want to turn them to Airbnbs, or we're gonna get some properties and they're just gonna be rentals, Section 8, blah blah blah. What would be some do's and don'ts you would say to people if they're getting into investment properties?
So I think first thing that just stood out in my mind with you talking, you said you and Micah.
Mhm.
You got to know who you're partnering up with, number one.
Yep.
Right. So up front, make sure that you and who you're partnering up with,
Mhm.
that your goals align and that you have clearly defined an exit strategy in case goals change, because we are humans, we are evolving individuals, and you need to really understand that things change and nothing is constant. So understand your partner, define the exit strategy, right?
Mhm.
You then will need to identify your investment style and your risk tolerance, right?
What
And
do you
once,
mean by
That's a
that?
big one. Yeah, risk tolerance. Yeah.
yep. So your investment style would be, are you looking to buy, like, invest money and over time see the return on your money, or are you looking for instant
Okay.
instant return, right? And not only that, but like your risk tolerance. Are you an individual that um, is willing to take high risk for high returns,
Mhm.
or you want to take low risk for, just gradual returns,
Yeah.
right? And so I think those come from conversations with a team of people. Like, you should have, your accountant, a financial advisor guiding you if you don't have the fullness of the knowledge in that. Plus a realtor to explain to you market conditions and what is realistic in this time and day. What else should you do? Then you need to really understand, like, how much money you want to put into the game.
Okay.
That's very, very important.
So
Understanding how much money you
so if
have.
I'm looking to go invest a property and I have no clue, I'm telling you right now, I have no clue. So I'm just asking, if I want to get into investment property, and I come to you, Nadia, and say, hey, I'm looking to buy properties to invest in, either to rent, to flip, whatever.
Mhm.
What are you going to tell me? Like, before we go any further, you need to have X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever.
Right. So you would need to have a financial plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes people think like, hey, Nadia, I got a bag. I got $10,000. It's really not a bag to invest in real estate. $10,000. I
It's
mean,
not bad.
there,
It's a little bit.
there are some programs that are pitched out there, such as like wholesaling and different
Yeah.
things like that say, hey, there's a low investment cost. I just say that you have to fully explore those things and have an understanding. It's not to say it doesn't work, but you need to understand if that type of investing aligns with what your moral compass is, your financial goals are,
Mhm.
right? And that's key to all of it. If you come to me, then we explore those things. And if I don't, because my licensure is in real estate, I'm
Mhm.
very cautious about how I advise. Like I know enough to do damage for myself, but I'm very cautious on how I advise. So I align you with the right financial people to guide you on those things, because it also, they need to explore like your credit history if you're doing this, your business credit history. There are things that they need to assess to see if you need to borrow money, or if you're doing a hard money loan, if you qualify for that. And so I just connect you with those people to get that going.
Okay. That is dope, because I'm thinking about doing that, and I've got a little bag, and
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
it's okay. I'll guide you.
I ain't got the bag yet, but I
Man,
mean,
you got the bag. You see the bag?
I say I'm gonna manifest it, like
You
Bridget
got the
said last
bag.
week.
There it is.
Energy
Yeah.
back and forth. But honestly and truly, it is a scary proposition, because now homeownership is one thing, own the house, and then now to go into investing in another property. How does, if I'm a homeowner and I want to invest in property, how would I set that up? Because I don't want to lose my home, my main home, but I do want to get into the investment things for a better life, generational wealth, being able to pay off these college loans and whatnot, go on a family vacation. So
Yeah.
how does one set that up? Like, what would you would say?
So
Keep
I
these
would refer
separate
you
properties.
back to like an accountant, right?
Mhm.
So that they can assess your financial situation and your goals to
Yep.
tell you whether you should be opening an LLC, a corporation, and buying homes under that, and how to set up, because there's different tax benefits as you begin to like own stuff and create wealth. And so I would connect you with an accountant to kind of guide you on that, because I get what you're asking me, but I think it's a very broad question,
Yeah.
because every individual's situation is very, very unique. And so the first step is sitting with a financial accountant to kind of guide you on how to set it up for your financial goals.
Okay.
And then secondly, like if you decide to be an investor, you've got to take the emotions out of it. It's numbers driven, all of your decisions. That's like a common thing that I see with some new investors. They come in kind of emotionally as we're shopping for homes. And I'm like, no, we have a formula that is going to identify your return on investment. When we
Yeah.
look at this house, we are just looking at it strictly from a number standpoint.
And that's what I want to know. So when you go into it, if I come to you, you're going to be there with me. You're almost like a partner. So you're going to be like,
Yeah.
hey, this is the home. This, based on your goals that we've assessed, this would be a good rate on a good return on investment, ROI, buzzword.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I know that one. So it's basically like, so if I come to you and I say, hey Nadia, I got about $50,000. I want to invest in some smaller properties or whatnot. What would you say to me? You'd be like, go see an accountant to make sure your money will be spent correctly. But
Correct.
what is there anything available to me, or is that how I come in? I got some money, I want to invest. What do you
Yeah,
say?
I think the first step is connecting with a realtor, and from
Mhm.
there, like we guide you to an accountant. I can show you a model of how to come up with your ROI, right? But
Mhm.
I leave that to you, because I want you to be able to identify what it is that you think is an acceptable return on your investment.
Mhm.
And from there, every home that once I know what you want, every home that I direct you to, you're just plugging numbers and saying, okay, does this make sense? So I pull that raw data for you. If
Mhm.
it's currently leased, I'm giving you what is the monthly lease. I'm finding out if I can from the landlords, if the tenant has ever been late on rent, because that's one of the things that you want to assess if you're taking over an ongoing leased out place,
Yep.
right? You want to know, am I buying something that I'm going to have to chase down monthly payments on?
Mm-hmm.
You want to know if it's currently at like market rent, or is it under market rent? So do you have the room to maybe at the end of that person's lease have them go their own way, and you do some work and fix it up and then raise that rent, you know, because those are things that you would look at to see, oh, there's potential in this place. It may be under market rent, but I could get this from it. So this is a good buy. There's just, that's it. You look at like the maintenance logs for places to identify, are you buying a place that's going to need
a lot
new things, a lot of fixing up? Are you having tenants like report a lot of issues with, is it on a septic tank? You know, do I need to get a new septic tank for this home? There's lots of stuff that you will assess, and I'll guide you through and provide you with the information, and you're going to plug it into your model.
Okay.
Yep.
That is. You got anything in there, Micah? You want to jump in?
Well, I had a question. With you being in Florida, I have a couple of friends that are considering moving from Georgia to Florida. Have you noticed any, or let me ask you this, have you seen any nice homes, or is it possible to find a home under 200? Had a friend ask me earlier.
Yeah, so, and I service primarily like the Central Florida, and that's from Central Florida area, and that's like from Daytona all the way across to Tampa, that whole corridor there. And I'm not saying that it's completely impossible, but it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. Like it's a struggle. And if it is, then you probably need to be walking in with cash to purchase that house, not financing it, because the condition of it and the competing offers that will be coming in towards a property of that price point will most likely be cash.
And when you say cash, someone's coming in and say, okay, I got 150,000, 180,000. Wow.
Yeah. And it exists. There's a lot of money out there.
My bag ain't that.
I've seen people walk in with $1 million cash and buy a house.
So
like, it's real.
Wow. I got a coin purse compared to that. Yeah,
it's okay, but just see the bag, visualize the bag.
I'm gonna visualize the but on another note, I know you've mentioned it that you're a health advocate, and I have inside knowledge, but I just want to see if you're comfortable, because you talked about your schedule and you talked about family life, work life, 20 showings in a day, all these multiple clients all over the city. And you had a situation where now you're an advocate for heart health. I wanted to give you a moment to kind of explain and let people know your situation and what you've changed in your life and how this occurrence has changed your life and your outlook on life.
Yeah, for sure. So I didn't manage my life well. As a realtor, like I was working very, 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 very hard. I've been doing this for about 7 years. And so I think work-life balance at some point did become a challenge for me. And I had a heart attack at 30, I think I was 38 years old. I'm 40 now, so it was 2 years ago. And it was insane, absolutely insane.
I remember when I heard, I was like,
yeah.
I called you up, like, because I found out afterwards, and I was like, what? And you were like, no, I'm good now.
Yeah.
Continue.
I think I let the bag out probably like a year after it happened, because it took that long for me just to reconcile what I had experienced and the magnitude of what I had experienced. And so that experience definitely gave me a different perspective on life. Because this is a disease that kills 1 in 3 women every single day. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. And so with that, I have made lots of changes in my life now. I eat better. I exercise. I'm a little chubby from COVID right now.
We
I
all
can't
are.
blame
That's
COVID,
why I'm
but
wearing
like,
this sweater. That's why I'm wearing this sweater.
but you know, I've been eating a little, you know, just extra stuff. So I put
Still
on a
gotta
few
enjoy life.
pounds.
We still gotta enjoy life.
You still gotta enjoy life,
We're
but I
roots,
definitely
buddy.
made some changes, and exercise is definitely a huge part of my life now. My kids and my husband and my brother and my mom, they're all a lot more cognizant of the choices that we to make life better for ourselves, and just, you know, really grab a hold of the fact that health is wealth.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing that can save your life. There's no money, there's no house, there's no car, there's no career that can jump in and save your life when you are confronted with life and death. So I am at a space right now where I just try to seize life, you know, and try to educate other people about heart disease and how it's important to manage what we eat and exercise, and you know,
in the
yeah.
you became a spokesperson. I was like my cuz, you know what I'm saying? After she told me about the situation about a year later, I was flabbergasted, and it put a scare in me too, because I was the same way, like just going, and I had issue with my thyroid. That was my issue. Like I was just tired all the time, working 2-3 jobs, new first child, you know, 2-3 jobs, second child had to get in there. But I found out that my thyroid was underactive, and next thing you know, went in to see my doctor. I was like, dude, I can't sleep. He tested me, and they said, hey, you got to take these pills right away, because if you go any further, you could slip into, what do you say, some kind of either renal failure or a diabetic coma, because I was just going and not stopping. And thank God that everything worked out with you and everything was safe. And I saw you became a superstar. You became a spokesperson for Orlando Health. And this is one of the buses. I just wanted to show off and be like, she was on the bus. And then I remember there was a billboard. I couldn't find a billboard, so I couldn't put that up there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We've done a lot of advertising
You had
for
commercials
Orlando
and
Health.
everything?
Yeah, we've got a commercial, just, you know, advertising this amazing team that has done so much to give me just another chance at life. I'm telling you, like, it's just insane. And I think that, you know, like when you're in your 20s, you're just having fun, you're living. Early 30s, you're still kicking, you know, you got a little bop in you.
In your 30s, you think you're still 20.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? And you continue. And then when you get to your 40s like me, and you're like, oh my goodness.
And the health discussion becomes important. You know what I mean? Where I think that the generation before us, they didn't talk a lot about like health. We just saw stuff happening. You're like, oh, that's old people.
That's old people.
And yep. And this is just creating a sense of awareness that we can teach our children, we can teach each other. Yep. And I think sickness had like a lot of stigmas in the past, because before I became open about what I experienced, I had a long talk with my family. It was like, hey, you know, the hospital has reached out to me and they've asked me to, you know, do X, Y, Z. But before I make this decision to share my story publicly, I need to make sure you guys are okay with it, because I'm a very private person by nature. You see me all over social media, but at my core,
that's business.
I'm very, very private, extremely private. And so my son, I love his heart. He was like, Mom, do it. He's like, if you touch just one life, then what you experience is God's will, you know? And I was like, you sure? You know, my people are going to know what happened to Mommy. He was like, do it, Mom, do it. And my toughest sell was my mom, because you think I'm private. Like she's a million times more private. And the fact that I'm mentioning her now, she'd be like, oh, of course, Nadia.
She's like the CIA over there. She's the CIA. There's no secrets coming out.
Fort Knox. But she supported me, and she was like, hey, whatever you do, it's your life. You know, you can speak to it. I'm so glad I did, because I've been able to help so many people as they walk through these situations of health scares, which is so eminent in today's world that we're in. And it's happening younger and younger.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I've had a few partners in their late 30s when we've lost a few to that. and it's scary. On my end, I'm like, I got to do some changes myself. I try to eat better and get out there and walk. Like I said, getting over a car accident, so I put on
Yeah.
extra pounds. Plus, pandemic, those burgers and those fries and them chicken wings look good when you don't want to cook.
Correct.
And so, but you have to try to do something, and especially in your field where you're on the go all the time.
Because you got to stay sharp.
Yeah, you got to stay sharp, but also your time is money. So
Yeah.
you may not have the time like somebody else who works a 9 to 5, and they can say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym at lunchtime or the gym in the morning. You said wake up, get the kids ready for school. You've got meditation that now you've incorporated, and then also, but then you hit the ground running, and you're all day all over the city.
Yeah.
So it's imperative that you do maintain some semblance of health.
Exactly.
Healthy
Yep.
schedule, so to speak.
Yep. The good thing about real estate, though, is that while we do talk about being busy all the time, I control my schedule.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I've adapted to the concept that not all money is good money. It's not. Like when you are interviewing me as your realtor, I'm also interviewing you because I need to understand that we can both work together and serve one another. So I manage that. What was that?
No, I never thought about it. I thought realtor, somebody comes to you, you're trying to get the business, but never really think about that realtor sitting and saying, hey, I might not want to work with this person. Similar to what Levon said earlier, like, I'm not getting a good vibe off this person. It's not really worth my time or money.
Yeah. You have to know, like, it's my business at the end of the day. And so I decide who I want to serve, and you decide if you want me to serve you. And if it's a good fit, we go for it. And adapting that mentality has actually made me much more successful because it does give me time to make sure that, guess what? I'm including those daily walks. Including time to make sure that I actually prepare a meal as opposed to eat and jump. So you have that autonomy.
That's great, and I'm super happy for that right there. So, you anything you wanted to jump in with, Micah, before we wrap it up?
No, I think I'm good. I have so many notes I've written. Man, it's page is full right now. Let's say that.
I know it's eye opening once you get into it. I remember when I jumped in, and we had multiple tries. We did one time, and I remember a realtor. My realtor story is, one time we got pre-approved, everything, and a realtor tried to sell us a home in a weekend without even seeing it. She was like, I've got these 3 homes. You need to decide which one you want. And I was like, my wife and Sean and I were like, we didn't even looked at the house. And why are you trying to make us buy a house? Who buys the first house they've seen? I know it happens, but nobody really buys the first house you see. It's usually you're kind of looking to see what's out there and what you might like. But she was trying to pressure us that Saturday morning, like, we need to go out and you need to choose one so we can get some Obama rates or something at the time. This is when Obama was president. And we were just like, nah, we're going to step off and back away. And then we tried later on, and that was a more appealing scenario. We got to learn. Sometimes we just went out to look at properties, not knowing, like our realtor, Andrell, God bless her, she took us to see some properties, and we were like, nah. She's like, but I want you to know, based on the money that you wanted to spend, what's available, plus based on what you want in a house, this is the actual price. So now you have to temper your wants. You gotta, your wishes. You gotta say, okay, I'm gonna be realistic. This is where I'm gonna look at as far as for the schools and whatnot. So it was grand to have a great realtor, and I know you are just like that, because I've seen the photos, I've seen the videos of people, happy and smiling after they bought their house on closing day. That's amazing, and I just wanted to say I'm proud of you. Not just as a host of a show, but people know we cousins. You know what I'm saying? And don't let them fool you. We cousins in the sense like we West Indian cousins. Like our parents grew up together. They were great friends, so that means we cousins. So don't let no blood test. The people be like, but you ain't got no blood. No, we cousins.
We family.
We family. So like, just to see you and your journey from where we were in '97 all the way to where we are now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just super proud of you for becoming this realtor, this great woman, mother, wife, sister, daughter, just much love to you, continued success. And for anybody who's looking for a great realtor in the Clermont, Central Florida area, I want you to tell them how they can find you, reach you for your services.
Yes, for sure. And Linton, I'm really proud of you too. Like, I am just proud of the man, the father that you've become, the son, the brother, the cousin. Like, you're just good people. And Micah, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I know great things are coming from you as well.
Thank you.
But yeah, if you guys want to reach me, my phone number is all over the place. So I'm just going to shoot it out there, right? You can call me on my phone at 407-697-5037. You can find me on Instagram at re.nadiawb. I'm very active on there, so you could always inbox me or shoot me a message, and I'll respond back to you. My email is Nadia, Nedia, Wiltshire, WILTSHIRE @kw.com. So I look forward to hearing from you guys, and if I can support you in any way with just guidance or support in any way, just let me know.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
You know, I'm always reaching out to you. So
for sure, we have good conversations about things.
What do I do here?
I was gonna say, Nadia, thank you for clearing some stuff up today. I know I have a couple of buddies of mine that are first time, homeowners looking to transition into that. So, but thank you.
My pleasure. And they can give me a call too. Like, I'm an open book to support in any way that I can.
Appreciate you. Thank you. And, want to thank everybody for joining us today. Another episode of the Inside Out podcast. We plan on doing more like this. We got a couple other show ideas. You'll be looking out on Instagram, Facebook, and you'll see the advertisements. We have a show coming up with women in sports television. That's going to be a great episode. So continue to follow us. You can follow us on Facebook at the Inside Out, the Inside _ I got to remember to say the _ the Inside _ Out podcast, on Facebook. You can always follow us on Twitter at LFelix Media. And also, where we at also? We're also on Twitch at LFelix Media. We're all over the place, broadcasting the show. Anything you want to get in there, Micah?
No, I think that about covers it. You can find me at UncleMikeWorks.com, and same as Instagram. Also launching that as well.
Oh, you want to? Okay, that boy got it. I thought you were gonna do what's the name? OnlyFans, but
Pandemic ain't hit me that hard. We're not doing that.
That's all good. But you can also find me, on Instagram, Mr. Dakota on Instagram, and that's about it for me. I don't really do much else but Instagram and Facebook with this show. But I'd like to thank OnlyFans for Micah. Yep. I want to thank our guest Levon Lopes of Keller Williams Realty in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. If you want to contact her and you're in the area, that's her IG, Rhode Island Realtor _Levon. And also you can head her at levonlopes.kw.com as well. I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. The replay will be issued, be a replay tomorrow, and the audio will be available on all your streaming platforms for podcasts, Pandora, Pandora, Apple. You can see what's on my mind.
It's coming. You see the Hulu, right?
Watch out. You know what I'm saying? Watch out now. But all your major podcast platforms will be available Monday for the audio version of this. I want to thank Nadia, cuz appreciate you for letting us pick your brain for today and get some nice information out there. Shout outs to D as well. Yep, great show, very informative. Yeah, we trying to do big things over here, Micah. You know what I'm saying? It's not just gonna be all
OnlyFans.
Yeah, not yet. Anyway.
Not ever. Let's not go there.
I got
okay,
offer, girl. I got something to offer out here.
No, please don't hurt him.
But I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today, and you'll catch us next Saturday at our normal time, which is 6 p.m. We just accommodated Nadia and Levon because they're busy women, as you can see. So thank you and everyone for tuning in. Make sure to check us out, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter as well. And we'll see you next time. All right.
Thank you.